Hey everybody, it's me, Alex, Senior Vice President over at Jet Lending, taking a drink. And today we are going to be talking about a very common question in investment real estate. How do you buy real estate with no money out of pocket at closing? Okay, so when you guys are looking for lenders to buy your investment real estate, couple things you can ask is if they are a loan to value lender. Most of them will say that they are. However, the second question you'll ask is, do you do 100% financing? And if you do 100% financing, that's when you can buy real estate with no money out of pocket. Now, what does that mean? That means that you find a property, you like it, you're going to fix it up, whatever. And you're going to go to title and you're going to not have to give a money order or wire funds or anything like that at closing. It means you have zero money in the game when you bought the property. A lot of times you can do like a cash out like that if you already own it, but this is something if you're buying it. This is something that you don't already own. Okay, so this is how people do it. I'm going to show you the math on how you have to acquire it, give you some tips on how to negotiate these deals, even in this market, because a lot of you guys are saying that if you guys are bought properties in the past, or if you're brand new, you're like, well, I can't find these deals. I mean, I'm getting emails from wholesalers and stuff, and I don't see $0 out of pocket deals, or they're telling me that the repairs are 12 grand and my contractor's saying it's 40. It's like, okay, so let me show you what to do. And then we're going to go talk about some tips on how to buy them. Okay, but first you have to understand how you have to structure your deal to actually do 100% financing. Okay, and those that do, like I said again, you could say, are you a loan to value lender? Well, yes, I am. Okay, or do you do 100% financing? Well, you get that. Well, then you're really not a loan to value lender. You're a loan to cost lender with a loan to value rider. It means that you do 70 to 80% loan to value, but you do 80 to 90% loan to cost at closing. That's 80 to 90% of your purchase price, or as is value, whatever is less. So if you bought it for 100 and it's worth 100, you're coming out of pocket 20 grand. If you bought it for 100 and it's worth 90, you're coming out of pocket more than 20 grand because the as is value is less than what you bought it for. Okay, and we'll go over that in detail another time. So what I'm going to do is show you the math on how this works. So let's say you had a deal. Now, for those who have not seen the news, HAR came out with a report. They are showing a dramatic increase in value. It's the first time in our history that the average home sale price is above $400,000. There was, I believe, a 3.8% increase in value from March to April alone. Okay, so the values of deals are going up, so we're going to use numbers that correspond to the market in which we are in, so you guys can have a better idea on how this would have to work. So first, we're going to go over the numbers. So let's say we had a property that was going to sell for $400,000. Okay, let's say that you negotiated a $200,000 purchase price. Now, I know you guys are going to be like, man, that already looks like a smoking deal. But I'm going to show you in a second. Let's say on average it's about 3% in property, so let's say $12,000 in property taxes. Let's say you're going to put 100 grand into this house. This house needs everything, okay? In repairs, needs a new roof, needs a new AC. It's all closed off. You got to open it up, new floors. You get the picture. All right, so that means that, let's say on average you're at 3% origination at 8.9% interest-only payments. And then here we go, 70%, that's 280. All right, and then 100 in repairs. All right, so if I come to this number here, that means I'm going to lend you 70% of the $400,000, which is $280,000. I'm going to take 100,000 of that and I'm going to hold it in escrow for you to do your draws on repairs. And I'm going to close the 180. Okay. So if I do this here, I'm going to come down. You have your origination fee, which is 3% of the total loan. If you ever get a loan that does not encumbrance your repair draws, be sure to ask this question. Does my repair draws, are they going to be held in escrow? And the reason for that is that means your lender has taken them out and held them in a special account just for you, so you can get your money back when you ask for it. Any lender who removes the money from their account into your escrow account has to pay interest on it. That means you pay interest on it. Okay, so if you're not paying interest on your repair draws, be wary. Make sure there's somewhere where you can get them. Just a side note. So you get your origination fees. You pay, your lender pays their doc fees. You got to pay title. This is not a lender fee. Your processing fees. So your total cost is about 14 grand for the loan. But your out-of-pocket cost is $33,955. Okay? So you're like, well, that's not $0 out of pocket. All right, let me show you what you need to do. There's many variables in investment real estate, but there's only one variable that you can control, and that's purchase price. So if you were to buy this for $180,000, you can see it goes down to $13,000. If you buy this for $165,000, you can see it's negative now. Purchase price dictates how much you come out of pocket with, because I'm going to be 70% of the after repaired value minus your repairs and closing. I'm going to lend 180. So every dollar you spend over 180 is the amount of money that you come out of pocket with at closing. Okay, and I'm going to show you the power of this in a second here. So as you look at this here, and we sell this property for $400,000. And we're, let's say, 6 months average in the loan, and we pay all our, like we did a video about this yesterday, pay all your utilities back, you paid 6% agent fees, you're 71 grand in profit, paying all your money, every dollar you spent out. So every dollar you spend over this amount is profit taken away from your deal, okay? So that is how you do $0 out-of-pocket deals with hard money financing. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about how people get these deals. Because right now, a lot of you are thinking, you just told me I had to get a $400,000 house for $165 if I had to put $100,000 in repairs in it. There's no way I'm going to find a deal like that in this market. Where are you looking? Okay, we close $0 out-of-pocket deals every day, every month, no matter what the market is. And this is where I'm going to stress for our investors to consider. First, 2 to 4% of all investment real estate is the distressed market. Okay, the distressed market does not really shift in accordance to the consumer market on like things that are bought on MLS. So if you guys have noticed that when you get wholesale deals and stuff like that, you can see that investors are finding deals and they're marking them up and selling them to investors for that spread, for that margin of finding the property. So you'd have to find that property within that 2 to 4% distress range. Now, where can you find them? Well, if you're an agent or you have access to MLS, look at your expired and terminated listings. Go to the house, drop off a letter, see what you can do, why the property didn't sell. Most likely didn't sell on MLS because there's a lot of things wrong with it. Somebody told them that was worth it, what it was. It was not worth that. They got in a situation where they took their property off the market and so on. You can also look at leads to where absentee owners, people that live in other states own properties, real estate investors, people that are holding rentals that want to dump their inventory, anything like that. Um, Hopefully you guys took a look at how profit margins work on our last video. One of the things I want to implore to you, especially if you want to be a $0 out-of-pocket investor, is that you have to buy where the margins reside on how you can buy the property. So don't be the investor that says, well, I only buy in 77006, or I only buy in Katy. No, you buy where the return makes you money, okay? And that's why we do these videos, so you can be a little more aware of how to get this done, because if you don't do the math in the beginning, you won't know how much you can pay for something on how you're trying to come out of pocket at closing on the risk of the investment in what you're doing. A couple other negotiating strategies for those that are not familiar with negotiating money. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are, a lot of investors in 9-to-5 jobs and stuff like that. They're like, I don't know, I'm an accountant, or I work at Halliburton, or, I work at Denny's. I don't know where you work, but you're like, I don't negotiate with anybody. I just go in, I do my job, and I leave. How do I do this? Well, there's a couple tricks that you can always do to make sure that when you negotiate, your negotiation feels very, very valid. Okay. First thing you need to do is have a pre-approval letter on hand. That's like a blanket pre-approval letter, just in case you're in a situation where you have to make a decision right now. And that letter states that you can buy this property. When you have a pre-approval letter, we give pre-approval letters to people same day. Okay. So if you need one, my second thing that you should do with your pre-approval letters is get your lender, like if you're using Jet Lending, have them put the purchase price on what you're trying to negotiate and the name of the property on your letter. So it's even a stronger negotiation to that property. The third thing I will tell you to do is do not start negotiating or offering in round numbers. So if you were trying to buy this one property here that we just went over for 165, right? Well, I'm not going to offer 165 because it's so easy without thought and retort to argue against my point. I'd say, well, 170, 180. And it's like, okay, this sounds silly, but it is effective, okay? Make sure that you offer in odd numbers, okay? So you may offer that person, well, I'll offer you $163,580. It is very difficult to counter that because now they think, well, how the hell did that happen? Well, how did this person think of that? It's a little bit of psychology. Not that you're trying to, dupe anybody, but if you're trying to, and you can explain, this is why I offered this. I need to put $100,000 into this. I need to be able to pay my marketing team and my agents and this, we're running a business. I can offer you this in 3 days from clear to close from title. Does that solve your problem? First, you have to, and we'll get to that. That's the number one issue right there, being a problem solver. So, but when you negotiate, use numbers that are not easily just emotional counters, okay? So if you're going to offer 200,000, well, I can, without thinking, say, 220. It's like, I'm going to offer you $201,000, $102 for your house. You're like, it slows everything down. So you have time to negotiate. And to the last point of everything on how to be a $0 out-of-pocket investor using lending is be a problem solver. If all of you are in this business to gain wealth, okay? Any business that does ethical business stays in business, okay? So one, keep your ethics. And two, what are you in this for? Both parties have to benefit, okay? If one party only benefits, the other party gets sour. And you lose business that way. So both parties, you and the seller, have to benefit from what's going on. Nobody wants to sell real estate. They have to sell real estate. Grandma died. I have this house. We are separating. We need to move. I'm moving to Georgia, and I got to sell the house. and I'm moving next week. Somebody has to, there's a reason why people sell real estate. No one just says, you know what, I'm moving. Nobody does that. They have to sell it for a reason. Okay. So one, find out the reason. Two, find what solutions can solve their problem. I have a story with a client. True story, happened about 7 years ago. And he goes to this person's house and he says, hey, I'm going to offer you this amount of dollars for your house. I forgot what it was 7 years ago. And he says, can I buy you? Is this offer acceptable? And she says, yeah, I love the offer. And he says, okay, great. Here's the contract and all that kind of stuff like that. When can we execute this? And the person said, I can't sign that. He's like, what do you mean? It's everything that you wanted. We're going to get you the money really quick. What's the issue? Is it do you need more money? And she said, no, I don't have anybody to help me move. And he said, well, if I get you a moving company out here to move all your stuff to your new place, would you sign it then? So, oh yeah, I would do that. Remember, don't be afraid of no. No means we just started talking. No means that there's still problems I need to figure out. Okay? So don't freak out if somebody says no during the negotiation. You haven't figured out what their problem is yet. Remember, we're problem solvers, not just investors. That's what makes this so sweet, because everything we buy is actually helping somebody out, and it's helping you out. Remember, both parties benefit. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for you. Hopefully you can see a little bit of the math of how this works, so you can get in touch with your agent and say, this is where we need to be here. Can you help me out? Or finding your deals or structure your marketing, and you can move quickly. Okay. So when you're out there looking, if you need a second pair of eyes, and thank you, David. And you need a second pair of eyes, let us know. We'll comp it for you for free. We'll let you know what's in the market. We've lent over $400 million. We've done over 3,400 transactions. The owner of the company has done over probably 2,000 of his own transactions. We have a good idea what's going on. We'll tell you what we think. Doesn't mean we're always right, but at least you have an idea of a third party saying, are you aware of this? Should you do? Are you speculating? Is this worth the risk? And that's why you get a team together. So I hope these educational series are beneficial for you. If there's anything that you guys ever want to learn, let me know and I'll make something for you. Have a great weekend, and I hope everybody gets out there and invests. It's going to be a great year, and we'll see you soon, okay? Have a great day.